Hey, what's up, YouTube? Comic Free 5 here, coming at you with a deck profile slash kind of in-depth analysis on this awesome deck that Chris LeBlanc and a bunch of the people from Atlanta, Hoban and all of them have been playing and play testing for a little while now. It's supposed to be like a secret, kind of, but they played it for a couple of ARGs, so apparently it's not a secret, but Chris LeBlanc got first place, or like he split for first place at the ARG in Vegas, the 1K, with playing this deck. And mainly the point of this deck is to loop your opponent's hand and on the first turn. Now, this deck is like really strong, but it takes a lot of thinking, and it's not just a deck that you can just pick up and just loop their hand and win without a lot of thinking. And if you mess up once, you're probably done for. So this deck, they're supposed to be playing it this weekend at ARG Orlando. So if you're going to be at the event, look out for this deck. You still have time to play this deck. They're going to be playing it until the next set comes out. When the next set comes out, everything changes. You have Cyberdragon Infinity, you have Solemn Knocking now, is what they're calling it. So it's going to be way different. But for this format, you can still play this deck, and it's really good. It loops their hand, so long as you take the time to think out all your plays first turn. So I'm going to kind of go over what the deck does, and then if you look if you're interested in it, you can always play it. It's a really cool deck. So first off, the 3 Synchro Fusionist. This is the main card of the deck. This is how this works. The deck works. It says very powerful effect. When it's used for a synchro summon, you can search for a card with fusion or polymerization in it. So you can search for an instant fusion, you can search for a brilliant fusion, or you can search for a refusion in this deck, and we'll get to those cards a little bit later. So the main point of this deck is to use Synchro Fusionist to search these and do more combos. What helps out this a lot is this Tatsunoko. This is a level 3 that came out of Clash of Rebellions. Before now, there wasn't really a level 3 synchro monster that you could synchro with just generic, but now this one is out, and what you can do is you can use one monster from your hand as material when you use it with this for synchro summon. So you can synchro the Tatsunoko on field, and Synchro Fusionist in your hand for Hyper Librarian or Excel Synchron, and search for the fusion without having to summon, so you don't have to use your normal summons, because you have one normal summon or maybe two when you make Seraph Knight. So it's really tough to normal summon him, and this helps out make this deck a lot better. So there's that. Then he runs Power Giant because he explained that he kind of changes his deck up, and I think they changed it up a little bit more. That's another thing I want to get to. Star Strike Duelist deck profile this deck. If you want to see some of his explanations, you can go check out her video on Star Trek Duelist channel with Chris LeBlanc. And also the Card Guys. If you haven't checked them out, they're awesome people. They posted videos of Chris LeBlanc, playing this deck and doing the combos. So if you want to see how it plays in action, one of the videos is just first turn, him thinking a lot. It's like 16 minutes of him doing all the combos, and he ends up with what you always supposed to get is the 3 Cyframe Lord Omegas, getting rid of 3 cards in their hand, then syncing with Trishula to get rid of another card, and then using Yazi to go into Baxia, and then Baxia returning the Trishula, and then Trishuling them again for another card. And then that's all 5 cards in their hand, and then they draw 1 card, and it's like they have 1 card, and whatever they do with that 1 card, they probably can't do much. And then when your turn, all the Cypher Lord Omegas come back, and you probably still have another Trish, and you just kill them. So that's what this deck does. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Level Eater, it's just a good level 1. You can use it with Power Giant or any of the synchros to help alter your levels. This is where the thinking comes in. You got to know what levels you're altering and kind of think what you're going to go into with these things. 2 Junk Synchron, because the normal summons you can have is 2, so that's why you run 2. And usually this deck is like first turn or second turn wins, so you don't really need to worry about multiple turns. And the same thing with Instant Fusion. He runs 3 Instant Fusion, but only 1 Norden, because you only activate 1 Instant Fusion per turn. But usually the game, if you're activating Instant Fusion and you're doing the loop, you're only doing 1 turn, you're going to loop their hand, so you only need 1 Norden. And then Gem Knight Lazui is supposed to be to special summon with Junk Synchron and descend with Brilliant Fusion. It's not Garnet. You can actually use it with Junk Synchron. You can go into like Formula with that and a level 1 tuner. So that's why this card's played. Doppel Warrior is another good card. You can use it with this guy from your hand. Make level 1 tokens, help you synchro. Now the 3 Psychics recover. You can discard, I think it's pay 2,000, special summon it. So this is a reoccurring tuner. Frankenderp is a non-tuner psychic, which is good with E-Tel, because most of the psychics that you special with E-Tel are tuners, but this is one that you can use as a non-tuner, and you can use it to pay 500 and look at the top card of your deck, and you can add it to your hand, but you don't draw next turn, but it doesn't really matter if you loop them. So it's a free card draw, which is pretty nice. Then Snow Rabbit, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit's another psychic tuner you can special, or sometimes uses effect, but mostly specialing. Glow Bulb, level 1 plant tuner reoccurring, pretty good. Jet Synchron, a Synchron card, lets you add 1 junk monster from your deck to your hand if it's sent to the graveyard for a Synchro material. So that's pretty good, Junk Synchron. And you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card, so it's another reoccurring tuner. And then 1 of each of the clowns, because they're pretty good for special summoning and coming back. 1 of each is probably more than enough, is what he said. And then onto the spells, 3 Instant Fusion for the Synchro Fusionist, and it's just a perfect card. 3 Brilliant Fusion to go into that Seraph Knight, and to send cards to the graveyard. Desynchro, which is really good with like Trishula. You can desynchro it and then synchro it again and banish another card from their hand, so you don't have to always return it. Or you can like return Baxia, or use it on Baxia and then synchro Baxia again and then return more cards to the hand. 3 Atelli gives a given for these 3 cards. Rhoda for Junk Synchron, 1 for 1, another good card. Special that those level 1 tuners, and to discard some cards. Tuning, search that Junk Synchron. Foolish Burial, send anything you want. Soul Charge helps out with your plays, just whoop and do it again. And then Refusion, which is pretty cool because you can use Norden with Instant Fusion, and then when it goes to the graveyard after your synchro, you can refusion by special summon it again and use its effect again, and you can search it with Synchro Fusionist. So that's the last card in the deck. And then for the extra deck, those 2 formulas for the synchroing, it's pretty freaking good. The Tatsunoko for synchroing from the hand, and it's just a level 3, pretty good. This Photon Pulse Dragon's good for altering levels and using it for the last synchro. And then Excel Synchron, you can send a single monster to the graveyard from your hand and alter its level, which is good with the Jet Synchron. Librarian is a given. You go to Librarian as soon as possible, and when you synchro, you draw more cards and it helps you fuel the deck. That's note explaining needed there. Yazi is only there to go into Baxia because Baxia needs a worm type non-tuner. So that's what that's for. Baxia helps you return cards back to the hand. So you can send Trish back up to the number of worms, which is 1, so you can return Trish and then use it again. Those three Psy-Frame Lord Omegas are needed 100% to loop the 3 cards from your hand. Trishula, like I said, loop more cards. Norden is for Instant Fusion, and Seraph Knight is for Desynchro. And then for the couple of side deck cards that he mentioned in the deck profile were Colossal Fighter. The main thing is for Cosmos, when they max you, they have like a big guy on board, you can go into Colossal Fighter and then just deck them out. Like keep specialing it and ramming it, and you only take like 100 or 200 damage each time. And then Cyber Dragons and Cyber Dragon Core are for all, and Chimera Tech are also for Cosmos. Special Cyber Dragon to contact, or you can use Cyber Dragon Core to contact, and then when you synchro and then you use Cypher or Omega to banish it, you don't have any monsters, you can banish it for another Cyber Dragon and use that again, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty much it for that deck. If you want to see, like I said, we want to see the deck profile with him explaining it, Star Trek Duelist, go check out her channel. She has a video up there. And the card guys have a couple of videos of him playing that deck um, with doing the plays and everything. And then this deck is going to be played at ARG Orlando. If you guys are going to be at ARG Orlando, watch out for this deck. Those guys are going to be playing this deck. It's going to be pretty good until, like I said, the next set comes out. So if you want a cool, fun deck to play and build really quickly, I don't think it's... The extra deck's expensive. Like the Cyframe Lords are expensive, but that's about it. Everything else is cheap. These are like 10 bucks. Yeah, like everything else is not that expensive. Like these are like 5 bucks now. These are like 6 bucks. You can get this for like $5 or $6. Like everything else is super cheap. You can get ultimate rares of this for like a couple bucks. So yeah, this is a really, really cool, fun deck if you have like Omegas and stuff. If you want to play, it's a really good loop deck. But like I said, be warned, you have to think a lot and make sure you do everything right. So yeah, guys, tell me what you think about this deck. I really like it. It's fun and innovative. And I hope to see it do well at ARG Orlando. Also, props to the people that made it and thought about it. It's really, really cool. I really like synchros. So that's about it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. This is Comfort for Life, keeping it real. Signing out.